In this video, we're going to be going over load path. Now, load path is one of the most fundamental and core principles to designing a structure. It doesn't matter what that structure is made of, you're going to have to understand load path in order to design that structure. However, with steel being one of the first design classes you take, I'm sticking load path in that section. So, load path is all about understanding how does the load move through a structure and get to the ground. Now, as a structural engineer, your job is to make sure that the load can move through the structure safely. And all we have to do is make sure it gets to the structure and into the ground. And then the geotechnical engineer will make sure that the ground can support that structure. So again, we just need to worry about making sure we know how the load is going to move through our structure, that the elements of our structure can support that load, and we design for that. So, load path is extremely conceptual and visual in that you're going to have to visualize in your mind how the load, where it originates, and how it's going to work itself through the different components of a structure, and again, get to the ground. So if we set up a quick framing plan, wow. If I could draw straight, that would be great. So we'll add some beams in there. So that's a basic framing plan. This would be for a metal building. And we can just say, this could be a floor or a roof, but we'll just say it's a roof. So first thing, let's identify some of these different components of the building. So that there is going to be your beam. This here is going to be a girder. And this here is going to be a column. So if we think about this, and of course there's going to be some sort of metal decking that's covering that roof. So if we were to place, let's say there's a snowstorm and there's a uniform snow load placed on this roof. And we'll just say it's 30 PSF. All right, so it snowed, there's snow sitting on this roof. What's the first thing that the snow is going to touch? So the snow is going to be supported by the metal decking. And then visualize the decking is then connected to the beams. So So the metal decking is supported by the beams. And then the beams are supported by the girders. And then the girders are supported by the columns. And then the columns are supported by the footings. And the footings then transfer the load to the ground. And that's all we have to worry about. So if we come back up here, you can see that the metal deck sits on the beams. The beams then get framed into the girders. So the girders are supporting the beams. And then the girders are then supported by the columns. And the column load goes straight down into the page, into the footings, and then into the ground, where the load then is dispersed, it dissipates. So again, we have our beam, which is held up by the girder. So we have our load that starts, we transfer it through the deck to the beams. The load then from the beam goes to either end. We can find the reactions of the beam. It puts a point load on our girders. Our girders are then held up by the columns, where the girders will have a reaction at each end. So the reaction of the girders will go into the columns, which will then go into the footings and then into the ground. So if we look at one of those beams, this is kind of what we're going to have to do and understand. So your beams will have some uniform load on it. Now these loads come from ASCE, wow, if I could spell, ASCE 716, and that's where you're going to get all of your loads from. That's where they're defined. And those loads will be given to you in PSF. But in order for our beams to have a uniform PLF load, let's draw the plan view of this again. So if these are your beams, this is your girder, and we've got some sort of area load acting on these beams, right? So this here is the PSF loading. Now we need a PLF loading on this beam right here. So we know that this beam is going to take the load halfway between its next beam on either side. So it's going to take that much area of loading. And that's how much loading that beam is going to fill. So we know that that distance there is the spacing divided by 2. And we know that that distance there is the spacing divided by 2. And we need that full width. So we're going to add those together and get that our tributary width is equal to the spacings of the beams. So to go from PSF, this whole area load, to just a line load, you multiply it by this tributary width right there. And when you do that, you'll end up with your PLF loading. So once you figure out all your different loads, if you have a roof, you're gonna have dead load, roof live load, and snow load. So you'll have those 3 different uniform loads. Now at this stage, you might be tempted to use your load combinations and get this down to one single total uniform load. However, you don't want to do that at this stage yet. If you are just evaluating this beam, then definitely go ahead, combine your loads, do your load combinations, get a total load, and analyze the beam. However, we need to keep these unfactored. So you're going to move your loads unfactored through the whole building and then go back through and factor your loads when you're at the design stage. So at this stage, instead of combining these, you're just going to find your reactions here. And you're going to have reaction 1, reaction 2, and reaction 3. Now the loading on this beam is uniform, so we know that the reactions on both sides are going to equal each other. So this is going to be a reaction for dead load, reaction for live load, and reaction for snow load. And again, it's same on this side. Again, you don't want to factor these. Once you have them unfactored, then you can go ahead and factor them to analyze this beam. But when we move on to the girder, you're going to want to use your unfactored loads. So if we come back up here, we see that there are 1, 2, 3 beams being framed into that girder right there. So we're going to have 1 beam, 2 beam, 3 beams. So if you look up here, you can see that when these beams rest on this girder, they're going to apply point loads where they're being framed into that beam. So we've got our 1, 2, 3 point loads, but again, we're going to come through and make sure that this is going to be our RD, our RL, and our RS for all of these, as long as they're the same beam, right? And again, then you'll find reactions here, unfactored, right? And then you can pull these reactions and apply them to your column. Because if we look up here, the girder is then being supported by the columns. So the reactions at the end of the girders are going to be applied to these columns. So we've got some reaction dead, reaction live, reaction snow. And then once you've gotten your unfactored loads moved all the way through the building and you want to start designing those components, then you factor your loads. So factor loads after. It's so important. After you have moved the load completely through the structure. That's super important. You don't want to be moving factored loads through your building. You want to factor them at that level that you're analyzing. And really, load path is as simple as that. It's just really conceptually and visualizing in your mind how the load is getting from point A to point B. Point A in this instance is where the load is originating from, whether it's snow, dead load, live load, whatever, and then moving it through the ground. And once we get it to the ground, then it's the geotechnical engineer's problem, and they get to deal with it. We just need to get it to the ground. If you have any questions about load paths, you can reach out to us on our homework help page or our tutoring page, and we'll be able to get you all the help that you need.